O MVPs, you champions so fine, gracing us again with your brilliance divine. Renewed you stand in the spotlight's glare, with endless knowledge and wisdom to spare. Cheers to your tweets, your blogs, your flair, for solving issues with just a flick and a stare. Another year to share PowerPoint slides and master the art of technical guides. Oh, how the forums buzz when you speak, with answers so perfect, it's almost chic. Renewed MVPs, your power so bright, Microsoft's beacon in the dead of night. Yet here you are, still fighting the fight, in a world where software rarely works right. So here's to the bug reports, the beta tests too, and all the free labor you cheerfully do. Congrats, dear MVPs, for enduring the game, for accolades, badges, and your celebrated name. May your inbox be flooded with grateful cries as you tackle new glitches and all their lies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Platform Boost podcast, your timely source of Power Platform news and updates with your hosts, Nick Dolman and Ulrikke Ackerbeck. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Ulrikke, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm going on vacation today, like a real vacation of sorts. So
what? Oh, I'm rubbing off on you. I like it. So you're gonna actually take a holiday, like a proper holiday, days off.
Proper holiday. I've rented a camper van. I'm gonna hit the road, drive off into the sunset, and go camping for a week.
Oh, that sounds so awesome. Do you have a plan for where you're going?
Yeah, I'm going to this provincial park. Apparently has really good canoeing and kayaking, and I'm bringing my paddleboard with me, which I've just started to get into a little bit. So I have my life jacket with me. So I think I already, we shared with you offline earlier my adventures of paddleboarding and falling into the river and everything like that. So it's so exciting. Classic. It's fun.
I love it. You sending me a picture of you on the paddleboard, and I was like, "Wow, I'm so impressed." Every time I go on one of those, it's just 5 seconds, and then I'm in the water, and you're like, "Yeah." Well, 5 seconds later, I was in the water. So.
Yeah, and my daughter was taking pictures, and she just had put my phone away just as I had fallen in, because that would have been such a classic photo.
And she's a lifeguard, so she went to rescue you, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, she did actually jump in and help me out, but it was like, good time.
So much fun. You're going on your own. You need your life jacket. Yeah, please promise me you'll wear your life jacket. Good.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I just came from a bit of camping myself. We spent the weekend at a fantastic campsite, I must say. It's just 10 out of 10 of everything. We got we have a huge, one of those old canvas house tents that you can stand up inside with 2 little sleeping compartments and everything. And we were allowed to put it up on the beach. So we just woke up 2 mornings and just, opened the shutters and just, there was the beach. And it was beautiful weather, so warm. The kids are playing in the water. I got so tan and nice. It was so peaceful and good. And then we went to the Lego museum. So that was awesome. Really, really nice. Good to have a weekend away. And now it's raining and boring. So then we can record a podcast without me wanting to get out. So maybe this will be a long one. Maybe I'll just, stay here chatting with you guys.
Okay. Fair warning, everybody. But also big news, amazing, huge news for you and so many other MVPs last week.
We don't have any news this week because our feed was just bombarded by everyone being so preoccupied with their own MVP awards. And congratulations to everyone that got renewed. I also got renewed, and you, of course, were auto renewed because you got awarded this January. And it's not that I haven't put a post together or anything. We talked about it because I don't know. I'm just as honored and appreciative of the reward as any MVP. It's just that I feel like it's a bit too much when your whole feed is kind of, just drowning in all of those awards. But so I can take this moment to just say to the community how thankful I am and how appreciative I am of being renewed as an MVP. And thank you to everyone that kind of helps me and put me on stages and on podcasts and help me with the contributions. And for all of you guys who produce content, because I would not be an MVP this year if it weren't for all of you guys making great content. Because actually, I haven't been writing that many blog posts, and I've been on stage talking about a lot of tech stuff. But this podcast is what keeps me afloat, I think. And it's all due to all of you. So I'm an MVP because all of you make great content. How about that?
Awesome. That's cool. And I asked our good friend Copilot to what they thought of MVPs and came back with this poem that I'm going to read to you now. So this is from Copilot. Oh, MVPs, you champions so fine, gracing us again with your brilliance divine. Renewed you stand in the spotlight's glare, with endless knowledge and wisdom to spare. Cheers to your tweets, your blogs, your flair, for solving issues with just a flick and a stare. Another year to share PowerPoint slides and master the art of technical guides. Oh, how the forums buzz when you speak, with answers so perfect, it's almost chic. Renewed MVPs, your power so bright, Microsoft's beacon in the dead of night. Yet here you are, still fighting the fight, in a world where software rarely works right. So here's to the bug reports, the beta tests too, and all the free labor you cheerfully do. Congrats, dear MVPs, for enduring the game, for accolades, badges, and your celebrated name. May your inbox be flooded with grateful cries as you tackle new glitches and all their lies.
Oh, fantastic.
So, congrats, all renewed MVPs. I hope you're humbled and honored.
Wow, that was amazing. Oh my God. Next time you have to write it yourself, because I know you're such a good writer. So next time I'm hoping for a Nick through and through poem. But yeah.
Original. Maybe that's what I'll do when I'm in the woods camping this week is
yes.
Maybe crack out a notebook and pen and just start writing again.
Maybe that's what you do. No, that was a great poem for sure. And I'm a bit curious about how much about MVPs you had to teach Copilot before you got this. So the prompt, we have to put the prompt in the show notes just for fun.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. But speaking of MVPs and great content, as much as everybody is humbled and honored being renewed, both MVPs and other community members have been producing, and Microsoft folks as well, producing again a whole whackload. Of course, we had our release plan episode last week, which has a ton of stuff in it, but still the hits keep on coming. So are we going to dive into it?
Oh yeah, let's do that. And the first one on the list was something that I also picked up and was so happy about picking up. And then I went into the show notes and you beat me to it. So
yes.
Yes. And it's about Power Apps YAML Code Creator by Matthew Devaney. And I learned from his video, because we've been saying Matthew Devaney, but he says his name Matthew Devaney.
Oh,
so yeah.
Okay.
So there you
Name
go.
Pronunciation is important. Yeah, I know, and I know we struggle with that sometimes. And sometimes
at least some of us
years.
do. Yeah, some of us learn,
cool.
Someone don't. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so because it has your name to it, tell the people what it is about.
Yeah, so I mean, you just got to watch the video, and Matthew, it's fun to watch because he's so excited about what he's showing. But basically, he wrote a Power App. So of course, taking a step back, we all know that the Power App's components, we can view source code. We talked about this a few episodes back. They did talk a little bit more about that in the release plan, but you can, go into, look at a component, look at the YAML code, make modifications to that, paste that back in. So he's actually written a Power App to generate this code. So you can go in and begin to add your own parameters, and then it will generate that YAML code that you can cut and paste and put back into your Power App and with these components. So it's pretty amazing. I know he's expanding on that already. It's basically using an app to generate code. And this is something that developers have been doing for many years for different platforms and things like that. So again, this is just, again, showing the power of Power Apps and this new feature with YAML code. I think this is a game changer, the whole YAML. The more I'm looking into it, the more I'm realizing, yeah, this is such a big deal. So yeah, good work, Matthew. And yeah, I know he's going to keep the content coming because this guy's a content producing machine. Like every week, a new email comes in with a new blog post or whatever. So
and we'll put links to the blog, and the blog has the video embedded, and it's worth watching the video just to see how excited Matthew is about this. It's so much fun to see his enthusiasm. Just he can't brace himself. He's just so eager about this, and it is
even
awesome
his cat gets in on it.
Yeah. I love it. So very, very good job. So it will save so much time for sure. And then maybe moving on to you want to go top to bottom? Because I have a kind of a thing going here. So you want to talk about why? So you have that enabled. You can see the YAML code, right, in Canvas apps, and also to connect your solution to a repo. Is that what this is about?
A little bit, yeah. So this is, again, David Whyatt, and we actually have 2 posts from David. I actually just posted another one this morning, but we'll get to that one. This one he has a whole series, and it's a little bit more higher level, but he said why your Power Platform setup needs a repo. And I mean, he talks a little bit about, actually, he gives an example of kind of sharing your solutions and automating to put them in SharePoint of all places, which of course, a lot of times we put it in GitHub or Azure DevOps or whatever like that, but talks really about the importance of, yes, we're working on something. Yes, they have the environments get backed up, but we really should be taking the source code, what we're working on, those solutions, and putting them in a safe place in some sort of source control. And especially once you unpack it, you can begin to compare what's been done, who did what's missing, if you're trying to merge things. Make sure you're not going to overwrite things. So again, this is kind of going into the higher level ALM story, but it's a good little read about, making sure, give you more food for thought as you work on your projects. And I know there's some projects I'm working on too. It's like, yes, it's a good reminder. We need to have this place, all the code, stuff we're working on stored, because the nice thing too is you can go back in time. You can say, wait a minute, something's broken now. Why? When did it break? And be able to go back through the iterations of your source control and find out, or if something's missing or there's some differences. I think we ran into a little bit of that in a project recently, some sort of discrepancies going on. So this is where source code can really come and save the day. So good post, David. We're going to talk about your other posts in a few minutes, but keep the good stuff coming.
Yeah, and I love his series because they're always end to end. They always build on each other, and it's a very, very good series. And also, I mean, now you can also dial back. So with new enhancements that we talked about just a couple of episodes ago, you're now able to reinstall an old version of your solution. So that kind of also makes this even easier. And now that you can actually restore an app that you deleted, for instance, Ariel, now that we have the YAML code, it's much simpler to kind of dial back if something goes wrong. So yes, I wish we had this set up from the get-go in our project, and we'll definitely look into this more in the future.
Yeah. And speaking of stuff that we wish we had way back.
Oh, yeah. And this is also something that we talked about in our last original episode, where we kind of highlighted or put our finger on something. Someone created a file upload PCF component for Power Pages, and someone kind of pointed out some security implications of that PCF component. And we knew then, because we had seen in the release notes that this was coming for Power Pages. We couldn't, of course, say anything, but now with the new release notes, we saw the new Power Pages file uploader experience coming.
Yeah. And this was actually, the blog post was by the program manager, Ankita. I worked with Ankita, and she's one of the amazing folks at Microsoft that just puts together these amazing solutions. So she posted a blog, I think it was a day or two before the actual release plan, but it's about the new file upload experience. So get this, we can now upload files that are up to 10 gigabytes through our Power Pages websites.
That's a huge deal. So huge.
Yeah, so I kind of got excited. So I actually did, I guess, a little what you call productive procrastination. I didn't want to work on something else. So I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this file upload, and I'm going to record it while I'm doing it. And so I went through the process, and I made a video, a short little video on how to set it all up. It's pretty straightforward. It's the harder part is getting the Azure container set up. Like the instructions are there, but they're more reference links. So I walked through that process and setting up the security and giving again, this is where the security comes in. Through Azure, you have to give your Power Pages site access to those containers. So that's how that security model is being implemented. I don't know all the ins and outs about that, but that's, we talked about the security issues of the community created stuff. But again, these skills, when you're creating this community content and PCFs, the web API has also been enhanced to accommodate this 10 gigabyte file upload. So now if you don't like the control that Microsoft gave you, and it's not bad, but if you want to do more, more exciting stuff, maybe Franco is going to make a YouTube clone at some point.
Hudson's trying to get in. You need to open the door for Hudson.
Speaking of cats, hold on.
And I need to open my window because it's getting hot in here. Hey, Hudson.
What?
He doesn't want to come in. He just wants the door open. You know this. Yeah. Don't close the door. You're not allowed. Right. So, and also what I saw from this, because let me dial back. Using attachments in Power Pages, we've been able to use the embed the notes. You have notes in Dataverse, right? In model-driven apps. We've been able to use that as for attachments, and we've been able to upload using an Azure Blob Storage account before. But when we've used the Azure Blob Storage account, it has automatically created that storage account in Azure for you and taking care of all of the authentication. I can't even remember once going in and setting all that up. Why do we now with a new setting have to do this manually?
Oh, that's a good question. Because through I think there's still limitations on the notes control through the model-driven apps in Dataverse. So how it is there. That's all sort of done automatically. Notes originally, those attachments were stored in Dataverse, and there's size limitations. So I think there's some legacy roadblocks there. But so now we're circumventing all of that completely. And through this new upload control going directly into Azure, into the containers and stuff like that. Now, that's, again, at the end of the day, is as much as Microsoft is one Microsoft, the whole Azure container blob storage side is a completely different team. So they're just providing the APIs and the configuration to the BizApps team, the same as they would provide that to anybody else. So the BizApp teams has to play by those same rules. But who's to say maybe they'll make a wizard or make it a little bit like they're doing with the Entra B2B or B2C wizard to be able to go through and set all that stuff up for us. But this is, at this point, kind of, it's already a good jump ahead. And then maybe someone can put together like either a scripts or a console app or something to be able to set up. That maybe that'd be something that will eventually add to the PAC CLI or to the APIs to be able to kind of set up and do this. Yeah.
And now that I think about it, I think maybe you have to set up your account or point Power Pages to your Azure storage in the site settings somewhere. So you couldn't, maybe, if I remember it right. So maybe you always had to do this. It's just that you did it on a site level where you would connect your site to a blob storage. Now you can do that. You could do that per container, right? Upload. So now I could have two different pages with two different upload experiences that upload to different places, different blob storages, because you do that for the component, each component by itself.
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. So you can upload all your, perfect. Yeah, that's exactly, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, cool. As we learned by playing with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I have a series of different links here regarding Copilot Studio. So first of all, I noticed Copilot Studio newsletter this week. Now, this is the 6th edition, so this has been out for quite a while. I've subscribed to a couple of editions already. So that's the first thing, right? So if you're into Copilot Studio, there's a newsletter dedicated to Copilot Studio, very much like the one for Power Pages is based on LinkedIn. So if that's if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to that. And I went through the latest edition to see if something caught my eye, and I found Power Cat Copilot Studio Kit. Now that is kind of the same thing as the Help Me Power Apps Starter Kit, right? So that would be the same thing. Power Cat has these different starter kits. One for Canvas apps, and PowerCat is also behind COE starter kit. So it's kind of in the same lay of the land as that. Now, what does this give you? Well, it is fourfold. So there's a direct line API where you could create test results that contain the Copilot's response, messages, attachments, etc. You get application insights, enriched results, especially for AI-generated answer tests. So it's about testing your Copilot most foremost. And then AI Builder, you get a custom prompt that generates, generative answers accurately. You can compare the generated answers with the sample answer or specific instructions. And then also the fourth one is an Dataverse, where you can view the full transcripts and detailed events and triggers on topic names and intent scores, etc. So if you want to kind of get ahead on testing your Copilot, this is a good kit for you, the PowerCat Copilot Studio Kit. And also I found in the same kind of, so this is kind of my deep dive because that's what we do, right? You open up, you watch a video, someone mentions a blog post, you open that blog post, you get a link to something. And I saw that the Copilot deep dive call on July 10th was a 2.5 hour long community call with so much content around Copilot Studio and new features and enhancements and really deep diving into extending Copilots. So this is a must-see for everyone who's using this these days. And also I found in one of the blog posts, I think, a link to a blog post. Now I didn't make sure to put the name in there. I'm just going to open this up to get the name. So Bülent Altinsoy. Altinsoy. Yeah. And it's about Copilot for sales, right? It's not really, so the blog post itself, the topic is not really that. It's about how you can create a Copilot for sales through Copilot Studio and how you can connect it to your inbox, for instance, and have it read through the sentiment and get the topics and the highlight for different emails and put that into records into Dataverse. It's great in of itself, but also just how he writes this blog post. So I really wanted to highlight that because I really love it. You know, he starts off with a joke. He starts off with a cat video just to get your mood going. The way that he kind of talks and formulates what he does, it's so light and it's so much fun, and it kind of stands out in a community of tech content where it kind of tendency to lean towards the business jargon, right? So this is fun and light, and I really, really liked to see this as a breath of fresh air. So thank you so much for that amazing blog post. And last but not least, the Dynamics 365 community call. It was there are a few of these community calls.
Yeah.
And this is one specifically for Dynamics 365. It will be broadcasted every month. And the first one was also July 10th. It had some different topics that went through, and they're going to do this every month. So if that is something that you're interested in, make sure to go in, and there's a link where you can download the iCals. You can put it in your calendar. It pops up every month, and you can just join the meeting from the meeting link in your calendar. So that's definitely in my calendar for sure.
Yeah, and it's a new call as well, because I think we have there's the Power Platform community call, there's a Power Platform developer call. Now this is specifically on Dynamics 365.
And you have the partner call as well. That's also very good. And Microsoft 365. So,
exactly. So you could probably fill up your calendar with all these community calls and everything like that. But so like on this particular one, I actually meant to go on it, and then I got I got double booked on another meeting, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to actually participate in that one. But I will try to catch up on the recording because they talked about Dynamics 365 Copilot for Sales as well, I believe, on that one. I think it was.
I think the blog post was actually preparation for that community call. I think it's on the same company as Angeliki, maybe. I think they're kind of collaborating at least because he mentioned the community call in his blog post. So this is, they're all tied together. That's why I got to mention 4 different links in one go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, we'll follow the order here as well. And then the next one is, so this week you're all pro Copilot. You're rah Copilot, which
yeah, I kind of alternate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been on pretty much a pro Copilot track for the last little while. I mean,
we'll crash soon enough. Don't you worry.
Exactly. Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah. Watch us crash and burn.
Right. But yeah, so so we're talking, this is something you posted about the Extreme Toolcast and one of the other podcasts in the community of great podcasts. And we talked and I haven't seen this yet. I do want to watch it because I'm a big fan of the Power Roles tool. I talked about this already, 2 episodes, or the last regular episode we had with Ivan Fico, about
that's
the
why
Power
I wanted
Roles
to mention
tool.
it. Yeah, because it was the one where, and you kind of, so we had this in, like you said, the last regular episode where we talked about the Power Roles that Ivan Fico did. It's a new tool. And you said, I wonder, maybe it's listening in on the HTTP requests calls that are made. I wonder if that's how we do it. And he actually explains in great detail how he does it. And you're exactly right. He listens into the HTTP request, the calls that goes in from the browser into Dynamics as you go through the different steps. And he also talks about how he created a user role and a user without any privileges. And that kind of goes in from that point onwards. And then, of course, they talk about how you could extend it and how you can kind of also put that job on the server side instead to make sure that not only are you using, because it's based on the CRUD operations that you can do, but then it kind of misses out on all the plugins and all the different requests you make. So what he wants to do going forward is put that job on the server side and actually go in and check and actually run the transaction to see where it fails. And based on the error message that it gets, kind of adjust the setting and then go run it again and then get an error and adjust the setting. And then, because then you go in from a zero trust perspective instead of going in from an open role. So it's kind of a shift that way. And it's not like that right now, but it really has a great plan for what this tool could be going forward. Because then, as Scott points out, then you would also catch different things from JavaScript on your model-driven app, as well as the plugins and everything else. Because then it would be a catch-all kind of thing instead of just the CRUD operations that is now based upon. So yeah, definitely want to look after. To put a pin in it and keep watching that tool because it will evolve for sure.
And the other thing I did see that Ivan has now made this available on the Chrome store as well. So you don't have to flip over to Edge. I primarily use Chrome for most of my stuff. So that's already a bonus already. But yeah, I'm excited to see if this, because to try to, when you're building apps, trying to figure out the security is always such a headache of, sometimes it's very iterative to do that. So yeah, good work, Ivan.
Yeah, very time consuming.
Ivan AI in full force here. It's amazing.
And also, if you want to hear Scott Giro say sniff 35 times, it's also worth listening to that episode. Just saying.
Okay.
It's a teasing.
So the other, of course, we always talk about Daniel, and we're, Daniel's getting to the end of our episode. So he actually put out some content this week, or amplified some content about a whole new Microsoft Learn module. Of course, Learn has a lot of great stuff in there, a lot of learning paths you can follow to get ramped up on a lot of this stuff. But it's about how to use a service principal authentication in custom connectors. And I learned something. I didn't realize that this was not you couldn't do service principals and custom connectors. And good thing, because I would have assumed and just dove in, at least now that you can. So yeah, check out about that if you're building custom connectors. Of course, custom connectors. Something that if something doesn't have a connector for it, you could, but there's an API, you can build a custom connector and use that in your flows and your Power Apps. But now that you can actually incorporate service principals in there, then that helps you kind of incorporate in a bigger scheme of talking back to Microsoft Graph and a few other things. So check that out. Daniel likes to remind everybody to make sure you read through all of the instructions carefully to when you're going through this learning module. I know he had a few questions and he's like, yes, it was sort of spelled out there. So anyways, well, we won't go too deeply into that if you missed something, but yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Cool.
So next up is, and this also kind of pings back to one of the things that we talked about earlier. So in one of our previous episodes, we talked about little known features, and you had a boost quest one week about little known features in model-driven apps or in Dynamics. Now, this is about little known features in Power Apps. And it has mostly to do with modern controls and accessibility. So the fact that you have different properties on, for instance, the text label, you have a live property. It's for screen readers to tell you if something will change on the go while you're live, kind of thing. You also have a text label called role, which allows you to say if this is a H1, if it's a heading 1 or if it's a heading 2, to kind of also help screen readers navigate through the page properly. You have the tab index and the access focus, which also kind of is not really the same thing. So it was kind of puzzled by the interaction between the two, where tab index in HTML is about which on tab index, you can tab your way through an interface, and also visually how it overlaps, how different things overlaps. And the access focus being if you're allowed to kind of access it through the focus to the tabbing. A bit of other things as well that you can look into if you're into, and everyone should be, of course, into accessibility, and especially for Power Apps, it's very important. So these are 5 little known features in Power Apps that is well worth checking out.
Cool. All right, and the last thing on our list is from David Whyatt again, and I said, I literally saw this morning just before we recorded, so I haven't dove into it, but I kind of went through a quick scan, and it was really exciting. It was about creating a snake game in Power Apps. Now, you and I were in Las Vegas last fall for the Power Platform Community Conference, or at that time called the Microsoft Power Platform Conference, the big one in Vegas. And there we saw I think it was the CTO from GitHub go through a demo using Copilot Studio in GitHub, creating the snake game. And that was all JavaScript and HTML. David's
one of the
basically
best demos I've ever seen to date. Just saying, that's mind blowing. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, and he did it like under 20 minutes. Now, so what David's done is taken that inspiration from that. I guess David was there. Like, David, how come you didn't say hi to us? Like, seriously, dude. Next time.
We didn't know David.
But he's created that snake game in a Canvas app. And in Power Effects. So I'm excited to kind of go through that code and see because I've like for AC/DC, I've written a game of sorts in Power Apps and Power Effects. It's hard because you don't have the looping and all of this other stuff that regular game development has. So I think I did do a quick scan. He had a few problems, and he talks about the roadblocks he hit along the way, as he does in his blog posts. So check that out. I'm just going to silence my phone. My daughter keeps she keeps texting
that
me.
Noise is that your daughter texting you? Because it sounds like 2 cars are about to crash outside your window.
No, it's just it's kind of like a maybe it comes through differently.
I'm thinking, what's going on outside? Is it roadblocks or what's going on? Because it sounds like 2 cars are about to crash.
Probably the mic's picking up. I have different ringtones for different people. Like, this, right?
Oh, so. What's mine? Can I just call you right now and we'll see what mine is?
Do you have a different
ringtone for mine? Mine's just a regular one.
No. Yours is special. No, that's the ring. No, it's for the text.
It's for text.
Yeah, text me something. Oh, no, because I turned it on silent now. Okay, try it again.
Oh.
You hear that?
Yeah, put it closer to the microphone. Oh, that's so boring. I should have some like the popcorn theme, the popcorn song or a Crazy Frog or something.
Oh yeah, we're totally distracted.
Okay, so 30 minutes in, and we are texting each other to get. Okay, so we're doing. Let's get this back on track. So actually, we're at the end here. Just wanted to mention another monthly Power Platform UX UI accessibility user group call. That's a very long name for a call, but nevertheless, the next one's on Sunday, August 11th. And it's by Anna Black and other community members. It's specifically about UX and UI and accessibility for a Power Platform. So definitely check that out. It's very much something to check in. And now we also have to check in with... oh no, never mind. Let's continue. Okay, so I think that's it. I think that's what we have time for. We don't have to mention all of the events. We can do that next time and make sure that everyone knows where we're going to be and what we're going to be up to in the fall.
Right, maybe because we were on New York Times Square advertising our event in Vegas. So
of course, so this is crazy. Victor Dantas put us up on the billboards on Times Square. He claims that that's real. It's not AI generated. It's not something he made up. It was actually broadcasted on Times Square. And that in of itself is awesome. Victor, if this is true, if this is what you actually did, then that's beep awesome. And it was for our workshop at the Platform Community Conference in Vegas coming up that we're doing. Yep. We're doing a Power Pages workshop. Victor Dantas, Franco Musso, Nick Dolman, and Ulrikke Ackerbeck. We're doing that as a team. So it was promotion for that. But what it also did was make me aware of how I've suddenly stopped believing anything I see online. Now, we teach our kids, and we were taught when we were young, don't trust Wikipedia, don't trust anything you see on the internet. And now you can't trust, that you can't trust magazine covers or anything. Everything's just AI generated or manipulated in some way. This made me realize to what extent I don't believe anything. Victor keeps texting me saying, it's true, it's real. And I still don't believe him because it's so easy to make that look right or real using AI. So yeah. I just want to leave you guys with a thought that is, because last time we were really rah, everything's so cool. And we've been kind of rah, Copilot, everything AI, yeah, fantastic. But then again, stop to think and look at your feed to kind of notice what do you believe is actually real and what is fake. Yeah. It scares me.
Yeah.
Scares the crap out of me.
There's a lot. This one I'm confident was real because it's I think it's a service that you can do marriage proposals or wish people happy birthday or those type of things, or advertise your workshop, the Power Platform Summit. So, but you're absolutely right. There's so much deep fake stuff out there. And I take everything with a grain of salt. Or me,
two or
I
three.
kind of, or three. It's anyways, but on a positive note, it's summer. I'll get all this, do a little bit of podcast editing before I can pick up my camper van and all that other stuff. But we'll be back again in August 7th. So probably you're going to be back at work. I'll be back at work. And even though it's still sort of, summer in a lot of places, content's going to keep on coming. The events are going to keep on coming. And probably there's going to be another 50 new Copilot features that we have to sort our way through by then.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Okay, I can't wait. I'll see you back then. Okay.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, folks. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please make sure you share it with your friends and colleagues in the community. And be sure to leave a rating or a review on your favorite streaming service. That makes it easier for others to find us. Follow us on social platforms and make sure you don't miss a single episode. Thank you for listening to the Power Platform Boost podcast with your host, Ulrikke and Nick Dolman. See you next time for your timely boost of Power Platform news and updates.